The story begins in a place forgotten by time, a village nestled between mist-laden hills, its cobblestone streets too quiet, its homes too still. The air carries the scent of damp earth and something faintly metallic, like old blood or rust. A traveler arrives, perhaps a detective drawn by rumors of disappearances, a journalist chasing a ghost story, or a lost soul seeking refuge. But instead of the usual hum of village life, chatter from the tavern, the clatter of wagons, the laughter of children, there is only silence. The houses stand intact, doors slightly ajar, as if the occupants had left in a hurry. Meals sit half-eaten on tables, now covered in dust. Toys are scattered in the yards, motionless. Yet despite the emptiness, there is movement. Shadows flickering at the edge of vision, the faintest sound of footsteps where there should be none. And then, the first sight of them. Children. They appear one by one, their faces pale, their eyes too dark, too deep. They do not speak, not at first. They only watch, their gazes following the outsider with an unsettling stillness. When they do move, it's with an eerie synchronicity, as if guided by something unseen. Their laughter, when it comes, is hollow, an imitation of joy, like a recording played back wrong. The traveler asks questions, but the answers are fragmented, nonsensical. The children recite phrases that sound like memories of words, not their own. The well is deep, one whispers. Mother said not to go out at night, another repeats, though there are no mothers here, no adults at all. And then, as dusk falls, the truth settles in. The village is not abandoned. It is waiting. The children are not survivors. They are something else. And the traveler realizes too late that the empty streets are not a warning to leave. They are an invitation to stay. The traveler's unease deepens as night falls over the hollow village. The air grows colder, the silence heavier, pressing in like a held breath. The children, those strange, watchful figures, have not left. They linger at the edges of the square, their silhouettes barely moving, their eyes reflecting the dim moonlight like glass. One child steps forward. She is small, perhaps 6 or 7, her dress faded and her hair tangled as if no one has brushed it in weeks. At first glance, she could be any lost little girl, but then she smiles. It's wrong. Too wide, too knowing. Her teeth are just a shade too sharp. "You're new," she says, her voice a hollow echo as if spoken from far away. The traveler crouches, trying to appear harmless, but the child doesn't react like a normal child would. She doesn't shy away or giggle. She tilts her head, bird-like, studying him with eyes that don't blink. "Where is everyone?" the traveler asks, keeping his voice low, as if afraid to disturb the unnatural quiet. The girl's smile doesn't waver. "Gone," she replies simply. Then, after a pause that stretches too long, she adds, "But we're still here." Behind her, the other children shift in unison, their faces turning toward the traveler with eerie precision. None of them speak. None of them breathe. The traveler tries another question. "What happened here?" But the girl only repeats his words back to him, her voice flattening into a dull mimicry. "What happened here?" she parrots, tilting her head the other way. A gust of wind rattles the shutters of a nearby house, and for a fraction of a second, the girl's face changes. Her pupils swallow the whites of her eyes. Her mouth stretches too wide, too many teeth glinting in the dark. Then, just as quickly, it's gone. She's just a little girl again, but the traveler has seen enough. He takes a step back. The children take a step forward. No one speaks. No one needs to. The unseen threat isn't in the shadows or the empty houses. It's standing right in front of him. The traveler stumbles upon an old, weather-beaten church at the edge of the village. its doors slightly ajar like a wound that never healed. Inside, the air is thick with the scent of mildew and candle wax long since burned out. Flickering lantern light reveals scattered papers, yellowed newspapers, hastily scribbled notes, a child's drawing of a family with black voids where their faces should be. Then, beneath a broken pew, he finds it. A journal. The leather binding is cracked, the pages brittle with age. The handwriting starts neat, precise, the village doctor's notes, but as the entries progress, the ink bleeds through frantic, shaking strokes. June 12th, 3 more children fell ill today. No fever, no rash. They simply stopped speaking. Their eyes don't focus. They mimic sounds but don't seem to understand them. June 20th. We found young Thomas in the field at dawn, standing perfectly still, facing the old well. His skin was cold. When we brought him inside, he didn't resist, didn't blink, just smiled. The entries grow more desperate. July 3rd, the adults are vanishing, not fleeing, disappearing in the night, no signs of struggle. Only their shoes left at the foot of their beds filled with damp soil. And then, the final entry, scrawled in a hand barely recognizable as human. They're not ours anymore. They open their mouths, but it's not their voices. God help us, they're learning how to laugh again. The journal slips from the traveler's grasp as a gust of wind slams the church doors shut. Outside, the hollow children begin to sing. The traveler doesn't realize it's happening at first. It begins with the silence. The village no longer feels empty. It feels full, but in all the wrong ways. The air hums with something unseen, a pressure against the eardrums like the echo of a scream just beyond hearing. The children are always there now, lingering just out of sight, their presence a cold weight against his back. Then come the dreams. Visions of the well at the edge of the village, its stones slick with black water. In his sleep, he walks toward it, pulled by something beneath the surface, a whispering, wet voice that calls not in words, but in imitations of words. The voice is learning. When he wakes, his mouth tastes of damp earth. The changes are subtle at first. A word feels unfamiliar on his tongue. A memory, his mother's face perhaps, flickers and distorts like a reflection in troubled water. He catches himself staring at his hands, wondering if the lines on his palms have always been that deep. Then, one morning, he hears laughter outside his window. His laughter. But he isn't laughing. When he looks in the mirror, his pupils are too wide. His smile doesn't feel like his own. And the children, the hollow children, gather outside his door, not threatening, not pleading, waiting, because they know what he's only beginning to understand. The hollowing isn't something that happens to you. It's something you fail to notice happening, until it's far, far too late. The traveler stands at the edge of the well, its gaping mouth exhaling a breath of damp, rotting earth. The children have led him here, not forcefully, but with a quiet insistence, their small hands brushing against his sleeves like leaves in the wind. Below, the water is black and still. A reflection stares back at him. His face, but not his face. Something behind his face. The journal's words echo in his mind. They're not ours anymore. He understands now. The hollowing isn't death. It's something worse. It's being replaced, piece by piece, by something that wears your skin and remembers your memories, but is not, and will never be, you. And then, a whimper. A child stands apart from the others, her fingers clutching a tattered doll. His doll, the one he carried as a boy, the one he thought he'd lost years ago. Her eyes are wide, wet, human. "Help me," she whispers. And for the first time, The other children go utterly still. The traveler looks from the well to the girl, then back again. The choice crystallizes before him, terrible and clear. Does he run? Does he fight? Does he reach for the girl, knowing she might be the last real thing in this cursed place? Or just another trick? Another hollow thing learning to pretend? Or does he lean forward, peer deeper into the well, and finally learn what happened to all the others who came before him? The water ripples. Something ripples back. The traveler reaches for the girl, only for her tiny fingers to close around his wrist like iron. Her tears dry instantly. Her eyes go black. And then she laughs. Not a child's laugh. Something older, something hungry. The other children step forward in perfect unison, their mouths opening too wide, their voices blending into a single echoing whisper. We were lonely. The well's water churns violently, and from its depths rise the faces of every villager who ever disappeared, their features slack, their eyes empty, their mouths moving in silent unison with the children. The truth crashes over the traveler. The children were never the victims. They were the first ones taken. The hollowing didn't start with them, it started through them. They are the vessels, the conduits, the perfect obedient puppets of whatever ancient thing slumbers beneath the village. And every adult who vanished? They're down there, waiting, learning, becoming. The girl's grip tightens. The traveler tries to pull away, but his body won't obey. His reflection in the well water is changing, his features smoothing into something blank and placid. The children tilt their heads. The well whispers his name, and the traveler realizes with dawning horror that he no longer wants to leave. The air itself seems to thicken, pressing against the traveler's skin like the damp walls of a tomb. The children's chant rises, a sound like wind through dead branches, like water filling lungs. The well's black maw pulses, breathing him in. His body is no longer his own. His thoughts are not his own. But somewhere buried beneath the hollowing a spark remains, a memory, his mother's voice, real or imagined, whispering, "Close your eyes." And so, with the last shred of will he can muster, he does, not to shut out the horror, but to remember the light. The children's chant stutters, the grip on his wrist falters. For one impossible moment, the village flickers, not as it is now, but as it was, sunlit, alive, real. The well screams, and the traveler runs, not toward the road, not toward salvation, there is none, but deeper, into the church, where the journal's last page still lies open, where the doctor's final words glare up at him. They fear the names of what they were. Behind him, the hollow children wail, not in rage, but in something eerily close to pain. The traveler seizes the journal, turns to the first page, and begins to read the names aloud. Every villager, every child, every soul swallowed by the well. The ground shakes. The children clutch their heads, their forms flickering between what they are and what they were. The well's water boils over, vomiting up shadows that writhe and dissipate in the air. And then, silence. The traveler collapses, the journal clutched to his chest. Around him, the village is empty again. But this time, the emptiness feels different. This time, it feels finished. The traveler staggers to the village's edge at dawn, the journal clutched under his arm like a sacred text. His body aches with exhaustion, his throat raw from speaking names that no living soul should remember. Behind him, the empty houses stand silent. No more whispers, no more hollow laughter. Just the wind through broken shutters, the creak of rusted weather vanes turning in a breeze that smells of rain and old earth. But as he steps past the crooked welcome sign, he hesitates. Something tugs at him, Not a hand, not a voice, a thought. He turns back. The morning sun paints the village in gold, but the light doesn't touch the well. It remains a black pupil in the earth, watching, waiting. The traveler's fingers twitch toward the journal. He should burn it. He should bury it. He should... A bird cries overhead. When he looks up, he sees them. Figures on the road, distant, approaching. The traveler's breath catches. The journal falls open in his hands, its pages fluttering to reveal one final line, one he doesn't remember reading. It's your turn now. And as the first of the newcomers waves to him, their smile too wide, their eyes too bright, the traveler realizes two terrible truths. The hollowing was never the curse. Passing it on is. He lifts his hand, waves back, and the village breathes in again. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next one. Bye for now.